Thank you all for joining me today for this presentation on A03-2021 injection, a critical security risk from the OWASP Top 10. Today, we'll dive into how injection vulnerabilities threaten web applications like those at ElectroShop. We're going to cover the basics, some real-world examples, and tailored advice for developers, testers, managers, and more. As a quick note, while we're focusing on the 2021 OWASP version, where injection ranked third, the OWASP Top 10 was updated in November of 2025 as a release candidate, moving injection to fifth place, but it remains a pervasive threat with similar core issues. As a member of ElectroShop security team, this presentation aims to raise awareness about injection risks in our e-commerce platform, where customers browse gadgets, create accounts, place orders, view purchase histories, manage payments, and get personalized recommendations. We handle highly sensitive data like personal details, credit card information, and transaction records, so vulnerabilities from the OWASP Top 10 could devastate our reputation, erode customer trust, and lead to regulatory noncompliance. The OWASP Top 10, updated in 2021 and refreshed in 2025, highlights the most critical web application security risks based on data from thousands of applications. Injection happens when untrusted data is sent to an interpreter, like a database or command shell, as part of our command or query, tricking the system into running unintended actions or exposing unauthorized data. This includes SQL, NoSQL, OS command, LDAP, and other injection types. This talk is for all of our stakeholders, developers, testers, technical managers, and non-technical leaders. We're going to explore impacts, prevention, best practices, real-world case, and some insights from CW89. By the end of this, you'll see how addressing this fortifies our defenses. Understanding injection. All right, let's break down what injection really means. Injection flaws occur when applications don't properly validate, filter, or sanitize user-supplied data before feeding it into interpreters, such as databases or command shells. Attackers can then inject malicious code to manipulate queries, steal sensitive data, or even execute arbitrary operations on the server. For ElectroShop, imagine an attacker slipping code into our search form, something as simple as appending our OR1 equals 1 to a login query, which could bypass authentication and grant access to customer payment details, or could even let them tamper with order records. So to elaborate a little bit, CW89 is a base level weakness that's part of broader categories like data neutralization issues and injection flaws. It can follow from uninitialized variables and relates to OWASP top risks across multiple years. All right, we're going to hit some common injection types and the impacts. So here we're going to look at the most common injection types and their potential fallout for our ElectroShop. As you see in the table, SQL injection involves slipping malicious SQL code into queries, which could give attackers unauthorized access to our entire customer database. Think dumping emails, addresses, and hashed passwords. Operating system command injection lets them run arbitrary system commands through user input, potentially compromising the server or deleting critical data like inventory files. LDAP injection alters directory queries to expose user credentials, which might reveal internal employee logins. And the NoSQL injection manipulates queries in non-relational databases, bypassing filters to pull sensitive records such as purchase histories. To add more depth, the OWASP notes that injection isn't limited to these. It also covers ORM injections, EL injections, and even OGNL in some frameworks. For instance, in a vulnerable Java app, concatenating user inputs like requests, .get parameters, so the ID, directly into a query string opens the door wide. Impacts at ElectroShop could be catastrophic, not just data theft, but also regulatory fines under laws like CCPA or GDPR, plus downtime during busy shopping season that costs us a ton of revenue. To put this in context, let's examine the 2023 Move It transfer data breach, a stark example of injection in action. The ransomware group exploited a SQL injection vulnerability tracked as CVE 2023-34362 in Progress Software's file transfer tool. They installed a web shell to steal data from major organizations, including British Airways, the BBC, and U.S. government entities without any authentication needed. It was a zero-day flaw. This exposed personal financial data for millions, triggering regulatory probes, class action lawsuits, and remediation costs running into the millions, not to mention disrupted services and shattered public trust. Okay, so now turning to developers, you're on the front lines building features like search functionalities that are prime targets for injections. These flaws compromise web security by letting trusted inputs enable data exfiltration or alteration. For example, an attacker could inject into Electroshop's product queries to reveal entire user profiles. Prevention starts with using parameterized queries or prepared statements to keep code and data separate. So avoid string concatenation in SQL at all costs. Instead, let's leverage APIs like JDBC's prepared statements in Java. Validate inputs, which allows for expected formats like only alphanumeric characters and search fields. Some of the best practices include adopting ORMs such as Hibernate for safe query handling, conducting thorough code reviews to spot dynamic constructions, escaping special characters where needed, and applying least privilege to database accounts. So even if injected, the damage would be limited. Testers, your role is crucial in spotting these vulnerabilities before they hit production. Injection risks arise from unvalidated inputs, potentially leading to full database dumps. At Electroshop, an oversight could mean a breach during peak sales like Black Friday, causing massive losses. Prevention involves automated scanning with tools like OWASP Zap to forms and APIs with injection payloads, plus fuzz testing to throw malformed inputs at the system and see what breaks. So building on that a little bit, here's a table of key tools and practices for testers. OWASP Zap is great for dynamic scanning where you can simulate SQL payloads on login forms to detect flaws early. SQL Map automates SQL injection exploitation, helping you detect and even exploit query vulnerabilities to understand severity. Fuzz testing mutates inputs to uncover hidden weaknesses, like testing API endpoints and malformed data that might trigger injections. Technical managers, you oversee the infrastructure where a single injection flaw can cascade into enterprise-wide chaos, as seen in the Move It. This threatens server integrity, compliance with standards like PCI DSS, and overall system reliability. To minimize risks, enforce secure coding standards across teams, mandate regular vulnerability assessments, and use dependency checkers to catch outdated libraries. All right, non-technical managers. Your key for budgeting and strategic oversight, injection undermines their security by exposing data throughout overlooked design flaws, directly hitting reputation and causing customer churn. It parallels move fallout with potential legal costs, loss of sales, and fines that could run into the millions. Prevention means investing in secure tools, team education, and policies for routine audits to catch issues early. In conclusion, addressing Alpha 03-2021 injection strengthens Electroshop's defenses against these ever-present threats. By understanding the risks, analyzing incidents like the ongoing Move It saga with its 2025 vulnerabilities, and adopting tailored practices for each stakeholder, we create a secure environment that protects sensitive data and drives sustainable growth. Some of the key actions are developers, we need to parameterize your queries. Testers, we need to integrate automatic scans. Technical managers, we need to enforce the standards, and non-technical leaders, we need the funding and to invest in prevention. The benefits are clear: a resilient platform that builds customer confidence and keeps us ahead in e-commerce. Thank you for your attention.